Hi guys, I'd like to welcome you guys all back to Plan with Melanin. Today we are here to talk about vending season for me, what it's been like so far, what I hope to achieve, all of that stuff. But I also wanted to give you guys some tips, tricks, and everything. Like I even wrote notes for you guys. So I'm gonna just prop it up here and we are going to get started. So for those of you who don't know, I am Brittany. I am the owner of Melanin Eclectic LLC. We focus on putting the bright and the black and fantasy and art and things just in the nerd spaces where we are and where we are not represented. I have been doing this since 2018. And I started vending for my first time in 2019 and then obviously had to stop because of COVID. And then last year I started picking it back up again. So I've been doing it for a couple of years. And I have been actively trying to figure out where Melanin Eclectic belongs because you know, we go to black events, we go to nerd events, we go to other events just to see where we belong. So far, we have done planner events, we have done a Comic-Con, we have done black markets, art craft shows, night markets. We've done like post Houston where it's like just a big market. We've done multiple types of markets. So I feel like I have enough that I can give you guys some kind of information about it. So yeah. So I personally have come to realize that one of the major reasons that we do in person is because I want to pull in more customers. In-person sales is just easier to deal with. It's less having to deal with packaging and shipping and all that stuff. It gives you a chance to meet your customers directly. It gives you a chance to see like what are people like gravitating towards like on your table versus like things that you think they might like and they might not like. I've also come to realize that there is a difference between the customers that I have online versus the customers that I have in person. So for example, online, I see a lot more with like my planner stickers and things of that nature. And my art prints actually sell pretty decently online. However, what sells the most in person is like enamel pins and the individual stickers. Like those kind of things sell a lot more. So it causes me to, so like I may invest in something and think that it might sell well, you know, on one platform, but really it sells better in the other one. So I think that's something that you should also consider when you're looking at if you should do vending events. I will say it's great for exposure. I've met other businesses, I've met other companies. There are even two particular places where I am currently working on my CSVs so that I can try to get Melanin Eclectic in a physical store. So that's something that would not have happened for me if I hadn't started doing these kinds of events. I also say again, it gives you immediate sales and it gives you immediate feedback. So those are what I consider like the pros. The cons of doing in-person shows, I think that's really relative to the person. So for example, I'm actually very introverted and a homebody. I love being at home. I'm re-energized at home. I have like just so much more peace at home. Talking to strangers makes me incredibly nervous. But so for me, doing these kind of events is very draining. So, you know, my social battery is pretty much kaput after doing one of these shows, which is why if you are like me, I recommend getting an extroverted helper. Trust me, just trust me. It helps tremendously. When you are kind of doing this, they're literally doing this because people like give them energy. Whereas to some of us, it might be a little bit more draining. It also gives you for me, I've noticed that sometimes it gives me imposter syndrome that I have to constantly fight against when I see other people and I think, you know, like they're getting a ton more customers than me. I know we should not be worrying about what the other companies are doing, but that's just reality of what happens. The other part of it is the prep and the money that you have to put into it initially. So initially, you have to take that into account with planning, which we are going to talk about later. It's just, you do have to take into account that there are some costs with in-person vending events that you will incur. That includes the fee to actually vend, and then everything that goes into your setup. These are things that you actually need to consider when you're doing this. Granted, because I started working on my setup years ago, the cost for which I'm spending on stuff right now is not as high as it was, but it was not cheap when I first started because I needed everything. So keep that in mind. So the second thing that I want to talk about is the preparation. So preparation is like finding events, researching events, knowing your target audience. And this is something that I have struggled with. You know, I really wanted to believe that because I am a Black owned business and because I was catering to Black people, that all Black spaces would welcome me the same way. And obviously that is not very true. I focus more on the Black nerds, the Black planner people, the Black book readers. That is actually like my niche audience. When I create my art, those are the people that I'm thinking about. And so for that reason, going to a lot of like Black events like Juneteenth and stuff like that, depending on the group that's there, I get a hit or miss. There are a lot of people that consider my artwork childish. And that means that that's the wrong audience, because the people that love my stuff, like at Comic-Con, nobody is calling my stuff childish. You know, like adults are buying my stuff and happy and buying my stuff. People online are buying my stuff and they're happy. So it's all about remembering your target audience and remembering, you know, who you're trying to gravitate towards. I also am very aware that my particular brand, I reach out to everybody. Yes, when I make my products, the Black people are the people that I have in mind, but my products are still meant to be consumed by everyone. And in the right spaces, they are. So that's something you really have to remember. Do not waste your money trying to vend at places that don't fit you. Trust me, you'll save a lot of money that way. Another thing is you should look at is the price. So for me, I started doing local events first, which is what everybody recommends, you know, Eventbrite. If you join art spaces or business spaces on social media, you're able to see like different markets and stuff. Highly recommend looking that up. It's just, keep in mind the price. So for example, the first event that I ever did was $100. Comic Palooza is like $500. And that is kind of the general price for some Comic-Cons. The bigger Comic-Cons like Fan Expo in Dallas, Anime Matsuri, those are almost thousands. That's a couple thousand. So also keep that in mind. Like I try to figure out which vending events I want to do every year, and then I actually try for tickets. So for example, I wanted to do Comic Palooza, Delta H Con, Dream Con, and I wanted to do, it wasn't Kawaii Con. It's another con that's here in Houston, I forgot. I got put on the wait list for Delta H. When the things opened for DreamCon, I was going through a lot of family stuff and I did not get a chance to apply. And then for Comic Palooza, obviously because I've already done it, I got access to do it again. And we actually got a corner booth this year. So we actually ended up paying a little bit more this year than we did last year for our Comic-Con booth. But I'm pretty confident that Melanin Eclectic will be putting more money into cons for next year. I'm not saying that we're going to be doing any outside of the state of Texas just yet, but it is a goal of mine to do Dragon Con in Atlanta. So it's very, I don't know yet. Like I don't know if we're ready to do Atlanta next year, but I do know that we're going to try to do at least 3 or 4 next year, because that's where my group is. That's where my people are. And, it also comes into play, like once you figure out where you're going to be vending, you need to think about the space. So for example, last year at Comic-Con, we had a regular 10 by 10 space. So I just planned it out with one table, and I planned it out just like that. This year I have 2 tables and I have a 10 by 10 corner space. So I'm actually going to have like an L shape worth of space for customers to look at. And so that is causing me to, you know, sketch out some potential options for setup, as well as getting some more visually stimulating things to bring people in. So those are the things that I'm actually trying to work on this month, and I have to remember to pull out my camera to record more of that. But your booth setup and design is something that you should do before the show. Do not wait the day of the show to figure out how you want your booth. Highly recommend setting it all up before you go, especially if it's your first time. I set it all up. I take pictures of what everything looks like, and sometimes I even write out a little diagram in case somebody else is helping me. Like, they'll know where to set things up if they see my diagram. So if you are getting help, always remember, like, it might be a vision in your head, but it's not a vision to the people that are helping you. So always make sure to have some type of visual. That's another tip. Another thing is, like, you need to think about marketing and signage. Signage is very important. I've got a little table runner now. I have a vinyl sign that sits behind me. I'm also thinking of making a sign that I can hang up on a pole that sits at my table, that like it stands above people so they can see it as they're walking and like want to come see what it is. I also have business cards, and my business cards I use specifically like the soft touch business card method, and I put my artwork on there. And because I am an artist, I think because I'm an artist, my business card needs to also kind of just immediately when you see it, you should think artist. And so once I kind of got that idea down, I think my business cards are pretty much a hit. I've also created these vending cards. Not vending cards. They're specifically for my in-person sales. So instead of giving out just a business card, sometimes I'll give out like a postcard. And so the postcard will have artwork on the front, which is obviously something people grab. But on the back, it'll say like, you know, this is where we're doing our next show. Here's what we sell. Check out our website. It'll be a QR code for the website, our socials. And then even at the bottom, it'll say, you know, use code whatever for 10% off, and like I'll have it expire a month later. So one, this is potentially to get a customer to come back to another in-person event, but by using the coupon code, I'm also tracking to see if I get any customers from the event going online to buy my stuff. I think that is something that I'm trying it out this year. We didn't get to try it out at our last event because the last event kind of flopped, but it's something that I'm definitely going to be trying out this year. One of the areas that I personally struggle in as a business owner, especially doing in-person shows, is customer efficiency, customer satisfaction, like just bringing in the customers. I'm not very good at that. I'm very awkward about it. I know I'm very awkward about it. Not gonna lie to y'all, I practice in the mirror. My little elevator pitches, I practice like saying hello. I'll even like wave and like have like a fake conversation in the mirror because I personally know that this is an area that I struggle in. So I wanna make sure that my face is inviting. I have no shame admitting this. It's so much easier to talk in front of a camera right here than it is to talk to people in person. It's just not my strong suit. So for me, at the moment, I'm focusing on things that I can really work on. So for example, you want to attract customers to your booth. Booth layout is very important. The colors that I picked for my booth are very bright, but also still very me and very Melanin Eclectic. I'm trying to make sure that I stay authentic to what I want, but also I'm trying to think of ways to grab people in. Lights are a huge thing that I've put back into my thing. I want the flashing lights. I want you to see my stuff and come running. Another idea that they say is like you can do like exclusive promotions and discounts, and that's where I'm talking to you about the postcard, but also my in-person events have deals that my website will not have. For example, I have a deal with my vinyl stickers usually in person where it's buy two, get one free, or I have it where, you know, if you buy a certain amount of things, you get this. Like, there are certain deals that you get in person at Comic-Cons with me that you will not necessarily get online. It's something that I use to pull my customers in. It's also a way that if you're trying to, you know, get people to buy more things, product stacking is huge. We'll talk about that in a second. But Another thing is they also say like collect customers' information. So this year we are going to try our hardest to start back doing a newsletter. And to do that, I need to kind of collect more information. And I am going to try it with Comic Palooza. So May is going to be the first time that I'm going to put out a newsletter in a long time. I haven't put out a newsletter in a long time, but I know that that is a way to get customers. So I want to do that. So I will have a clipboard on my booth this year to sign up for the newsletter. And well, I'll tell you what you should do with that like afterward. We're going in order of my outline today, so I'm gonna stay on topic. Another thing that I recommend this, get you an extroverted friend. Y'all met Kara in my last vlog. Y'all met Kara. So y'all know Kara's my extrovert to the introvert of me. Sis loves talking to people. She loves engaging with people at the booth. She just has a way to bring them in, and she'll talk to them, have conversations, tell them the stuff that she loves, recommend stuff that she thinks they might like. She'll upsell the heck out of them with no problem. These are things that I can technically do myself, but her battery for it is much bigger than mine. And so it's nice because sometimes I feel myself shutting down, especially at Comic-Con. Because it's not just one day for like 4 hours. It's 3 days for like the first day you're like 12 hours. Or no, it's like 7 hours, 12 hours, 5 hours. Some crazy number like that. That's a lot of time for me to be peopling back to back. I get kind of shut down. So I'll start drawing or something. And I'll even show the customers like what I'm currently drawing. It works. Our little dynamic works very well. Like she's been doing it with me for a year now, I think. A year? Almost a year? I don't know. Close to something. Either way, get you a friend to help you. You can do these vending events alone, but getting friends to help you makes it just easier. Trust, I've done it both ways. I've done it alone and with somebody else. Alone, I always feel very overwhelmed. I always feel very awkward, but when I have like Kara there with me, or at the last show, I had another friend with me. We have conversation, we're laughing, we're joking, paying attention to our surroundings. They also are very excited to like sell my products. They're my friends. They're a part of my support system. Your support system will gas you up to other customers too. Plus, like they wear their Ita bags and stuff too, so they'll confidently, happily show off their stuff. And that's actually a marketing tool. Like, I don't think you guys realize the power of your support system like that. So that's just, one thing. Also, another thing, I forgot to add this in like your prep stage. I do want you to remember that if you are a vendor, I recommend investing in a cooler. Stay hydrated. Bring your medicine. If you want, I can do a video on like my vending kit, like the stuff that I carry that's just for like us in the back. I can totally do that. Just let me know and I'll show you guys what's in my kit. I'll even try to make a checklist for you because I'm very serious about my kit. And I also have a cooler that we take with us to every show, and it has like water, snacks, gum, all that stuff in it. So we can do a video about that too. I just stepped off the track. Let's get back together. So for this particular thing, I'm not gonna say that I'm an expert. It's something that I'm hoping to use to work on increasing my sales. We do set a sale goal, especially for Comic Palooza. Like we already set a goal, how much we hope to make. So that's why like I'm working on products. I'm trying to work as fast as I can. Also because, Melanin Eclectic is not actually making that much money right now. Some of that product money is coming out of my own pocket again, which gives me very reminiscence of like when I first started my business, but it's fine. So I've just been doing like every paycheck. I have been ordering more products since March. I've been ordering products that have been coming in, and I've just been kind of stacking everything because at some point in May, I'm just gonna sit at the table and just go to town on packaging everything appropriately, putting them in their respective containers, and going about that. We'll talk about inventory management in another video if you want. I can show you how I do it. Again, just let me know what you want down below. I cannot stress this enough. Upselling and cross-selling is a very vital thing. So for example, Cyborg Girl comes in multiple things. She's on coloring books, she is a keychain, she is an enamel pen, she is an art print. Sailor Moon. Sailor Melanin Moon is super popular. Will probably never not be popular. Stickers, keychains, coloring books, prints, bookmarks. Y'all have seen it. I'm gonna use Kara as the perfect example for this. Kara will see somebody looking at the enamel pens and she'll ask them, which enamel pen caught your eye? More than likely, most of the time, very seldomly has it ever changed, the #1 enamel pen that grabs their attention on my booth right now is Cyborg Girl. At this point, she starts talking to them about how much she loves Cyborg Girl. She starts talking about telling them like, you can get the Cyborg Girl enamel pen and you can show it off in the Ita bag. At which point she already has her Ita bag on her shoulder where she displays the fact that she already has Cyborg Girl in it. And where she pulls out the sleeve to show them, you can store it and change them out. I cannot tell you how many people's faces have lit up with this. Also, I have to pause. My battery is dying. Of course my battery is dying. So, like I was saying, upselling and cross-selling is very important. Kara can give somebody to like 1 sticker, then she'll tell them, well, you know, we have a deal. If you buy 2, you get 1 free. Or, oh, you like Sailor Moon? Let me show you all the things that we have that are Sailor Moon. Or, oh, you like this? Let me show you. Have you ever considered this and this? Listen, let me find out somebody got a fandom that's on my table. They'll leave with the whole thing. And it's mostly Kara's fault. I probably could sell like that, but I'm not gonna lie, it's just so much nicer to have help at your table. Get help, you'll feel better. Especially for bigger events like Comic Palooza, highly recommend you get help. Another good idea that I especially saw at a couple Comic Cons and stuff is like mystery boxes. So for me, I'm gonna be doing mystery boxes this year of some smaller stickers, some enamel pens that I think I'm probably gonna discontinue, I'm not sure. But there'll be mystery boxes for people who, you know, maybe they don't really know what they want from my shop, but like I wanna give them like a little sampler box. So I plan on making like mystery sampler boxes. There won't be that many of them, but there will be enough, you know, enough to, you know, grab their attention and have them curious. That is the goal. I'm also releasing newer products that, you know, I might have done like for example, I did a short pre-order for tote bags over on my Instagram, and some people did buy, but I am going to be selling those same tote bags at Comic Palooza, but I don't see myself re-upping tote bags right now. Tote bags seem to be a lot of like responsibility, so it's exclusive to Comic Palooza right now. And I think that's something to remember and to tell people like, hey, you have exclusivity here. I also try to bring them back to the website. So this year I actually plan on printing out some planner sticker bundles and having some sticker albums for sticker storage and stuff like that on the table as well, just to show them like, this is how much variety is in the shop. But if you want to see more, check it out. I'm also gonna tell you guys, like, if you are a variety shop like me, like I have a dream of like being like a real stationery shop someday. And so if you're like me and you have a lot, you have a certain amount of space to do it in, but because like, it's like, utilize your whole space. Don't just focus on one table. I made the mistake of just doing one table at Comic Palooza last year, and every time I think about it now, I think if we would have had the space where you kind of walked into our space to shop, I think that I would have been able to showcase more. Like, I want to actually make an art wall this year where you could just walk in and just look at all the art that we have, you know, on one wall, and then one place it's all the stickers. Again, I'll show you guys. I haven't set up my living room to be the preliminary like booth yet, but I plan on doing that in the beginning of May. I'm just currently trying to spray paint and like make things match first. So yeah. So another thing that is really important next to products, inventory, booth setup, price, things like that. Another thing you should take into consideration, which I didn't always do. So for example, if you track the mileage that you drive for your businesses, cool. But you also need to track like parking and things like that. So for example, a lot of Comic Cons are in places where you have to pay for parking, and not a lot of places provide vendor parking areas. the one here in Houston does not provide vendor parking areas. And so, you know, I calculated how much it would cost for parking. I calculate how much it costs for the new products that I'm bringing in specifically for Comic Palooza. I calculate the price of groceries. I calculate the price of a lot of everything, because I use that as the money that I want to make back. Like, to break even, we have to make back all of this money, and then everything after we break even is profit. That's pretty much how I view it. Now, does it necessarily mean that I don't take all of it and spend it on stuff towards Melanin Eclectic? No. But to me, breaking even is not good enough, especially for events like Comic-Cons. So just keep that in mind as well. The next thing you got to consider is like your post-event follow-up and evaluation. So for example, now that I've been presented with the problem of some chronic pain issues, I'm enlisting a lot more help than I used to do for the end of shows. So I have created kind of a system for where everything goes. Everything has specific bins. Everything has specific boxes. I plan on actually getting another Tupperware bin just to hold the parts of my booth setup that are for actually putting it on the table. I think that that's probably going to be my next move, and it's probably going to be a Tupperware bin that's on wheels, so that it can be pushed separately from the wagons. Again, if you guys want to see the things that I recommend, I can make a separate video. Oh, I will be making a separate video for the supplies that I think every vendor needs. I will be making that, but again, more specifics, ask away down below. So after you actually get through with the event, say for example, it's Sunday evening, it's 5 o'clock, the event is over and you are breaking down your booth, collecting everything, you've got your money and everything. You go home that night, do nothing, take a break, take a nap, go to sleep, wake up tomorrow, start over. The next day is pretty important. So that's where they say like you're supposed to follow up with leads, you're supposed to communicate with your customers after the event. Last year I did not do that. This year I've already started working on the template to send. So I will be sending a personalized thank you to the people that I have the information for that bought through us. So through like Square and stuff, you can collect people's information, plus the people that sign their name on the newsletter. I will be thanking them for coming to my booth. I will be thanking them for checking us out, letting them know if we have another event coming up, reminding them that I have a website. All of that will be sent out to them. After I do my customer kind of like closeout engagement, now it's time to actually like get my shop back together. So I do that first by counting inventory. So the inventory obviously does not just stay in the bins, like they go back into their respective places in my office, but I also have to update the inventory on my website. So this takes a while depending on how much product you bought and things like that. So one, it kind of helps me figure out, you know, what were my top sellers for the event, because I write down how much I'm bringing to the event, and then on that very same page I fill out how much we have left after the event to see what were the top selling items, like what were things that I thought people were gonna, you know, what were things I thought that people were gonna buy that didn't buy. There's an inventory assessment that goes on, plus updating your website. Then I kind of look at the actual sales performance. So I gather all the different forms of sales, because I accept many forms of payment. So I have to go and put all of that down into my budget book. Not my book, well, it's on the computer, but budget book nonetheless. And compare it to how much we spent versus how much we made, and see where we're at. Did we meet our goals? Did we not? Were there any like areas of improvement for next time? There is a review process, and I've been realizing that the review process has been helping me out. Even this year with the 2 not so great vending events that we've done already this year, I've had a lot of reflection time. It's kind of helping me prep for Comic Palooza. And so I hope that's kind of what it's gonna do if you were to do it yourself. I think that this is just something good. Plus, because I work with Kara a lot, sometimes Kara has suggestions, whether it be things like, oh, maybe next time you should work on these kind of items, or, you know, maybe we should do this. She offers feedback. I tell her how we did, how we didn't do, all of that stuff. Also, even if your business is not making enough money to where you can pay employees, like always make sure to show your appreciation to the people who helped you by whatever means works for you. I'm not saying how you do it. I pay Kara in merch, and I feed her. Feeding is very important. And I try to make sure that when she's helping me through an event, like she does not have to pay for things because like she's helping me do my event. So it's considered a cost. Just same way if I really had an employee, I wish I could afford employees, but luckily I have friends that are just completely down with helping me for all of these events. So as a recap, if you are a small business owner and you are looking for a way to reach out to more customers, especially in a local sense, I highly recommend that you try a vending event. I think that these could definitely work for you. Just remember to plan everything out. It's just so much easier. It makes your life easier. You're more prepared for your situation. I'm here if you have questions. We can talk about forms of payment. We can talk about sales tax. We can talk about anything that you guys want. This is my business planner channel. So I just want to thank you guys so much for checking it out. And until the next video, guys, bye.